There comes a time in history when people become redundant and you have to move them.
What is happening in Grenada can lay the basis for a new socio-economic and political path of development.
Everybody wanted to be a revolutionary.
Everybody was excited. I was running around screaming, trying to tell somebody, look, Gary has been overthrown.
And you walk in, your chest high because, there's something good happening.
Let me tell you a story. It takes place on the Caribbean island of Grenada, where the sun always shines and life seems easy. The Caribbean Spice Isle is famed for her beautiful landscape, lush rainforest and relaxed lifestyle. And for one more thing.
Forces from 6 Caribbean democracies and the United States began a landing or landings on the island of Grenada in the Eastern Caribbean.
Being the smallest sovereign nation to be invaded by the United States.
Liberated Grenada from communist thugs who had taken over that country.
But before that was the revolution. The Socialist New Deal movement overthrew the Grenadian government in 1979. Maurice Bishop declared himself Prime Minister. The People's Revolutionary Government energised the nation, and with Maurice at the helm, anything was possible.
At a time when even the big, powerful, industrialized nations were growing backwards last year, we grew forward by 5.5%.
He genuinely wanted to see more benefits being brought to the working class of this country, and I'm sure he never imagined what ultimately happened could have happened, because the whole process was one of genuine love.
I remember being lifted off my feet by Maurice Bishop and being tickled mercilessly and screaming, "Behave, Uncle Maurice." And what I found electrifying even so young was that the way people reacted to Maurice. I mean, a crowd of hundreds and thousands of people will be yelling, "Maurice, Maurice," once he came into the arena.
He almost convinced me to be a strong part of the revolution. The ideas of the revolution at that time would have worked perfect in Grenada.
The progress that was made economically, socially, and so on, we have never been able to repeat most of that in Grenada.
The establishment of the National Insurance Scheme, the distribution of free milk.
Now that there was a revolution, you no longer had to pay for secondary education.
I had to help on the picking up the nutmeg and the cocoa in order to go to school. The free schooling created a significant impact in our lives.
The marketing board, the airport.
The whole attempt to educate our people represented salient attributes of that revolution.
I was born when the revolution was in full swing, but growing up in the north of England was a world away from my mother's homeland. We'd visit over the years, and stories of the revolution would come in and out of focus, though none of it made much sense. How did the revolution turn from a will for change to a climate of fear and impending invasion? 30 years on, I was about to find out.
The revolution was very intolerant. Once you take an opposing view, they label you counter-revolutionary.
I was accused of having counter-revolutionary material, and they found nothing that was counter-revolutionary, and yet they took me.
You had quite a number of young persons who had access to guns.
When the revolution started making mistakes, they couldn't see Maurice doing anything wrong.
It was in October 1983 that the Grenada Revolution came to a chaotic end with the slaying of then Prime Minister Maurice Bishop and some of his cabinet colleagues.
The shots were firing and people were just screaming. They shook to see my head, but it was really alive, and I ran down. By 11:30 there was a staccato of shots here. Blah, 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 blah. And I mean, you heard this happening up on the fort.
And it's how they kill him, Put him up on the wall and shoot him down.
It was not the People's Revolutionary Government, it was Maurice.
Even today, some people see him as some angel that dropped from the sky
and they see Bernard Code as the devil that came from the bottomless pit. What a myth.
You had to find a villain, you had to find a hero, and it was the simplest way to deal with the situation.
To chump up a charge on me for murder and keep me in prison for 25 years, that I see as injustice.
To this day, nobody knows why Morris and his followers were killed so brutally. Perhaps it is because only 6 days later, Reagan began dropping bombs on an already broken nation and rewrote history in the process.
We liberated Grenada from communist thugs who had taken over that country.
The revolution became a simplified story of good versus evil, and in time what was once an invasion came to be known as the US intervention.
Almost everything that had been written on the revolution was written by non-Grenadians.
This film is about Grenada's will for change and how an island only 12 miles wide and 21 miles long upset the global political landscape for an historical hour. 30 years on, the Revo speaks.